Cause you never rush straight. This was for the record, but going down history in the making. First it was Elijah Muhammad, now we the honorable black prophet. We been in our bag and out of our feelings, securing all the profit. And going outside, don't know what you hearing, so miss me with that gossip. Saying sucker free from up shit, let someone get out of pocket. Whoa, we come from different walks of life, but relate to the same cause. Fighting to live a fight, laid up behind them hospital walls. They focus like the face, but like syringes.
This fine, what is this? Monday. So we're coming to you live with our show today. Yes, I am in the hospital. This is a hospital bed behind me, but like we say, it's no days off. So we want to welcome you to our show. We had a specific show planned for you today, but we had to make some last minute changes. So we thought maybe we would talk to you guys about self care, especially during this pandemic while we're quarantined at home. I want to get you guys' thoughts and opinions about what's going on out there.
So if you guys have any questions, the number is 770, correct me if I'm wrong, 376-7242.
I think so.
Let's hope that's correct.
Yeah, let's hope that's correct.
Okay.
So basically, self care is the biggest thing that is on all of our minds right now because we are stuck at home. Some of us are stuck in the hospital. Some of us are stuck at home needing to go to the hospital and afraid to go. So we thought we would talk about that. And we wanted to give some tips and tricks of what we've been doing to help pass the time in hopes that you can use some of those ideas to help yourself maintain your sanity, especially during this time, because we don't need any kind of stress to trigger any type of crisis in our lives.
Right. We definitely need to keep our stress level as low as possible, just period. But like Jennifer said, especially now, um, even though she's in the hospital, it's really the last place that we actually want to be or need to be, because of the situation. So like like we said, keep the stress level low, whatever it is that you guys do to minimize stress, whatever it is that you guys do that brings out the happy. For me, painting, is listening to music, it's doing some meditation in my backyard. It could be different things, but those type of things are very crucial at this time, specifically at this time. So it
So yeah, what's been like? Give me like an example of a day during this whole quarantine period when you were like, okay, this is enough. Enough is enough. Let me get out of this house. What did you do to get out of that, and what happened on that day? And then I'll tell you mine.
okay. So my backyard is my peace anyway. So when I'm sick of everything and I really can't go anywhere, I just go to my backyard and maybe feel like I'm in the park. I might pull out my easel and do my sip and paint. At the very least, I'll go to the grocery store, maybe with makeup on, maybe none, just to say I did my makeup and I'm looking like something. But I'll go to the grocery store, but that's about it. That's super early in the morning because we're going doing senior hours or the immunocompromised hours, as I call it. But it's my hands are tied because I don't need to be going many places. Just go outside and kind of get into my zone out there. That's my peace. Even though it's at home, it's still my peace away from home, at home.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to tell you my day. I think I may have had two instances when I was like, okay, enough is enough. But um, I'm sheltered in place at my mom's house. My mom and I actually live about 10, 15 minutes away from each other. But my mom just got a kitten, and I have a dog. So we're all sheltered in place at my mom's house. The cat, the dog, my son, my stepdad, and my mom and me, of course. And the dog and the cat don't know each other. So they are like so curious to meet each other. I don't know what my dog will do once if he gets the cat or whatever. So we're trying to keep them apart. But this one day, the dog went chasing after the cat inside the house. And he literally dragged me down the hallway because my dog is like, you know how big he is, 100+ pounds. And the cat, of course, got afraid and went under the bed. And I was like, you know what? Okay, we're done. I'm going home. Forget this pandemic. I need to get out of here. And my mom was like, you can't go anywhere. Like, you need to be home. But what we did was we played, I don't know if you guys, watch James Corden late night, but he has a game called Carpool Karaoke and they sell it in stores. If you don't have that game, get that game. It has been a lifesaver and a godsend throughout this pandemic. So we played that as a family and we just laughed and laughed for hours. And that was a silly way to, relieve some of the stress and laugh and bring us closer together as a family and de-stress from the whole cat dog situation
I
because
can't
it was too much.
I can't really say that this quarantine time is really perfect timing for people to reconnect with their families and do those things that we never had time to do when we was at work for 40 to 80 hours a week. Um so yeah, because me and my family, we've been watching more TV together. Shocking for me, I know. Um my mom has been encouraging us to play games. We haven't gotten there yet, but the TV and helping her outside and being in the garden, that's all being done more now together. Just because we have that time to bond with each other now. So that's been one of the good parts about this quarantine thing. So
Yeah,
um
I think, a lot of people that I've run into who have sickle cell say that they don't really have a lot of family support. But I think some people have been finding that they have a little bit more support than they thought they had during this time. And, like being able to count on your neighbors who you may not have even known before. Like you see the goodness that's coming out of people,
yeah.
which is really a positive thing on like a positive spin on such a negative thing that's going on right now in the country.
I agree with that. So if you guys watching can call in and share with us how have you been handling this quarantine? Our phone number again is 770-376-7242. That's 770-376-7242.
And
Um,
of course, we're also on live. So if you're on the watch party, and you want to type a question in there, we can see those also.
yeah. People definitely have to find some healthy coping mechanisms. Even though it's a horrible time right now, it's still a perfect time to kind of learn some more coping mechanisms. A lot of us are losing people due to what's going on, and we can't even grieve like we
Yeah.
used that like we normally can when someone passes away in your family, but we have to find new ways to even cope with that and to deal with that. So even though this time is just crazy, I think it's still a perfect time to figure out those coping mechanisms for grieving, for stress, for just whatever you're going through. Because we can't get out because we stuck like Chuck.
Yeah. Especially, because people have been joking like on social media about how much they're eating during this period of time. And, a lot of times we eat out of boredom and we eat for comfort and all those types of things. So, what you need to do is make sure that even though you want to eat food, you want to have snacks and stuff, make sure you have healthy snacks and things like that, because we don't want to all come out of this pandemic 40 pounds heavier and unhealthy because all we did was eat and binge watch, the Tiger King on Netflix.
Please, not Tiger King. No. Um, or simply just figure out a way to work that off. There's plenty of videos on YouTube you can do for cardio, for yoga, Pilates, whatever you feel comfortable with doing. And I know a lot of people's like, work out, girl, stop. Especially folks who have sickle cell, but we are the main ones that need to keep some type of exercise or movement going, even if it's for a short period of time per day. To me, yoga is physical therapy. So I think again, it's perfect time to kind of dive into that and look for that and try some new stuff. At least you can try it at home and not be in a studio or a gym and try it out and feel like you looking silly. So
Yeah.
just while you at home, try out something new so that you don't gain those 40 pounds from eating out of boredom. I can attest to eating out of grieving or eating emotions, eating out of boredom, like Jennifer said, eating just because the food is there. I can attest to how unhealthy that was. So, yes, please change out your snacks. No more flaming hot Cheetos, or maybe less flaming hot Cheetos and Swiss rolls and gummy bears, and more baby carrots, apple slices, um, things like that. Because y'all, we do want to stay healthy. We've been seeing so much about how Black people, African American people, have been impacted by what's going on. And people are thinking that, they're just being hard headed because they're still doing stuff when everything is shut down. But you have to look at the health disparities overall. We
Right.
deal with,
Not only, and the access to healthcare that we have.
right. We deal with so many health issues already, aside from dealing with this virus. We deal with diabetes, we deal with hypertension, we just deal with so much already that when this virus comes in and add to what's already going on with you, everybody ain't making it out alive, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind as you're in this quarantine so that you don't create bad habits, and just really try to look for good habits to kind of deal with whatever you're dealing with. Your kids get on your nerves, just put them outside for a minute. I mean, going outside the door is not going to hurt us. If they have allergies, if they're very allergic to pollen or whatever, that might not be a good idea. But on one hand, I kind of feel like we're all in punishment. Can't nobody go outside. So but at home, in the confines of your own home, you can figure out some things to do to just better yourself. Plenty of time to read books now. Self-help books work. They're great. Or whatever book.
Or whatever is your genre, you
Right.
know.
Whatever takes you away from what's going on now and puts you in another place, go for it. Healthy things, not unhealthy things. Um, go for it. So we're
Yeah.
all this is new for all of us.
Yeah. And we don't even know, what it's going to look like on the other side of this, like what our new normal is going to be. So we kind of have to be flexible and try to find the silver lining, even though like having to be home sucks, and having to be stuck at the house and cooking every day. We're kind of over that, but we don't know what our new normal is. So you kind of have to leave yourself open for whatever it may be, um, and just hope that, some positive does come out of such a negative thing. I was seeing a lot of people circulating this meme on social media, and it was like, if you don't come out of this pandemic, learning a new hobby, having started a new business, and, with all these things having been done, checked off your checklist, then it's just that you're lazy. And it kind of hit me in a way because one, it's judgmental. Um, you don't know what people's situations are. And for someone like who may work and has sickle cell, who isn't an essential worker, these these days may be like what they really needed as far as just relaxing and resting their body, because you don't know like how much stress you're putting on your body on a daily basis. So I think we need to be more understanding of each other in this moment, and understanding of each other's differences. Um,
I didn't
and
even look at it like that. I just looked at it like everybody is on their own path. Yes, this is a great time for some to be starting a new business or doing this or doing that, but it's not for everybody either. So I think that's perfect that you said, of course, this time is now time for people, especially people that's dealing with sickle cell, to kind of rest. When I was working, I actually like working seasonal because I had months in between the next time I worked, and it gave my body time to adjust or balance, or however you want to put it. It wasn't until I started working permanently, working throughout the year, that I started to be affected. Even though it didn't affect me like that year, it was years working permanently where I had no seasonal break that it started to impact me. And eventually that's what stopped me from working, because it became just too much. So yeah, that's a good point that, people who are dealing with things, sickle cell, rheumatoid arthritis, whatever it is, this is the perfect time for them to just relax and binge watch and eat whatever. So that was a good point.
yeah, I mean, and as advocates, I think sometimes we need to, cut each other some slack. I see often, on Facebook, especially, I'm friends with a lot of advocates who that everyone has. And I think everyone is entitled to their own opinions and their own views about, what we should be doing during this pandemic, and how we should be carrying on, you know, with our sickle cell. And I read somewhere that, someone was afraid to go to the hospital during this time because we are, in that number of people who have compromised immune systems. And we're afraid to go to the hospital because it's like, this is the worst place you can be right now if your immune system is compromised. And, you know, where are they going to put you? Are you going to be on the floor with COVID patients and things like that? And I think that some people, you know, in this time have needed to go to the hospital, have been in crisis, and have been kind of suffering silently at home because they let their fear take over the fact that they need to take care of themselves. And of course, like, this is the last place that any of us want to ever be, but you need to take care of yourself in that way. And I can attest to being here twice during this whole COVID pandemic thing. Once because I was having like crazy nosebleeds. It wasn't even a sickle cell related issue. And, you know, the way they treated me in the ER gave me a little bit more peace about being there in the hospital. And
Okay.
of course, this hospitalization is sickle cell related, but I was able to come in as a direct admit, so I didn't have to stay in the ER. And they had the patients and the direct admit separated from from just sitting out in the waiting area. They put you in like little offices, um, and then everyone who's come into my room has had on PPE, a mask, something to cover their head, their gloves. They're, utilizing the hand sanitizer at the door. And so it's really put me at ease about being here. And
Okay.
I know, a lot of people are like, oh, how is it? How is it at the hospital right now? Like, are you scared being there? And I can say that honestly, the only thing that I didn't particularly care for was such a small thing. And it's just because I'm a creature of habit, is not being on the floor that I'm usually on. The floor where I know the nurses and the nurses know me. I'm on a floor that I've never been on before, and a floor where they don't typically see a lot of sickle cell patients. So I've had to do a lot of educating here in the hospital,
Mm.
but everyone has treated me so kindly and with so much respect here that I'm like, I wish people could see this so that they wouldn't be afraid to come into the hospital if they need to during this time.
Well, maybe you should speak on it more.
Well,
So that
I did it.
no, besides just this, so people will know and not be so hesitant to go to the hospital because this past week I had a crisis in my arm. It was so freaking bad. It felt like the Incredible Hulk was just going to pop out of my arm. And I think I was crying more because I didn't want to go to the hospital, not even just to Grady, the sickle cell acute care. Um, and I really couldn't get a handle on the pain. It wasn't until I was taking my pain medications like on the hour, every hour, with the long acting, the short acting, and everything else. After hours of doing that, then it was able to calm down. But normally, if I last 2 days and something ain't working, it's time for me to go to Grady. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I was just too scared to go because I'm like, and I know the acute care is closed off. However, I wasn't trying to hear that and I didn't want to go. So,
Yeah, I probably wouldn't have gone to Grady during this time just because so many people are at Grady.
oh, great.
And they service so many people, and then just the area down there, I would have been concerned about going in that Pratt Street entrance and stuff like that, but I did feel comfortable here at Piedmont.
That's
um,
good.
the first time, my first visit with the nosebleed thing, I did like have a whole panic attack about being there because my mom is always with me when I go to the hospital. And they were like, no visitors.
Hmm.
And, they had on all the PPE, and it just really looked like really apocalyptic. And it was scary. And that day it was like overcast and, like such an ominous gray day. It looked like something straight out of The Walking Dead. The we came downtown at like peak rush hour time, and there was no traffic, so it was just like eerie, like the whole feeling of coming down here. But they have really been taking care of business, so just say kudos.
Well, I hope some people are more at ease after hearing that because like I got that phone call back in December, even though it wasn't like the same situation, that phone call from a parent where she was panicking because she was being treated a certain way at the hospital, but to the point where she didn't even want to have to take her daughter to the hospital anymore, or her daughter didn't even want to come anymore. But she's also scared to keep her child at home to deal with the crisis at home because it could go either way, you know. She didn't want to keep her home in a situation where she really needs to be in the hospital. So that just reminded me of that moment when, this woman had this attack. I won't call it an attack because I can understand why she felt the way she felt, because we feel that way now. It's scary either way. It's scary whether to go into the hospital and maybe have to deal with all of this COVID-19 stuff, but it can be just as scary to stay at home and deal with sickle cell because our body is
You
also
don't
always
know,
doing stuff. Yeah, we just don't.
right? You don't know what it could be like. Oh, you think it's a regular crisis in your arm, and it turned out to be a blood clot or what have you. It could be anything.
Yeah,
And we're sitting at home afraid
yeah,
because of what's going on. And of course, the media's coverage of it doesn't help. Doesn't help the situation. You think that it's like terrible out here.
yeah. As a form of self-care, I would encourage people to limit their amount of news intake. Yes,
Absolutely.
going on, but at the same time, it's just so much going on. And if you're not limiting or being careful about what you're taking in, it
And
can
who you're
consume.
receiving that news from too. Like that can make a difference. Like,
Yeah,
are you listening to such and such news station or this news station? Does because certain channels give me a little bit more angst than others.
yeah,
So you need to know what's going on in the world, of course, but like a 24/7 feed of what's going on
it's
is
too much.
detrimental to our mental health. And
It's
then it's not even including like if you have children and you're doing the homeschool process, all these things are being put on us. And I read an article and it was like basically we, the world, we are not okay. Like we're working from home, we're teaching our kids from home. If you're a teacher, you're teaching from home and teaching your own kids, like you're doing double duty. you
yeah,
know, People are not following some of the rules that have been put in place. You're seeing people who are here one day, gone the next. You're not able to properly mourn. Like it's creating a space for there to be this huge moment of PTSD globally.
yeah. A lot of us are not okay. Like you said, it's like you said, that's globally. Like a lot of people are just not okay. We're all grieving together. We're all in, like what they say on the TV. We're alone together. We're all in this together. But yeah, we're grieving together. We're just having to deal with such a crazy time. Just at the same time, it's bananas.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know like what the future holds, like will what we will say when we look back upon this moment, from the future. Like, where were you when coronavirus hit, and what were your biggest struggles and challenges, and how did you get through them? But I want to be able to say, these were my challenges, but I didn't let those things take me over. And these were the things that I did to help myself, help my community, help my friends and family.
Yeah,
So
I
I
think
think, go ahead.
I think we're definitely gonna have to make some adjustments like we've already made. However, there is no more normal. It's no going back to normal. At this point, we've come too far for things to go back to normal. And I don't think we've still experienced it the worst here in Georgia for things to go back to normal. We still have some time to go. So for me, there is no going back to a normal because that's gone.
Yeah.
We have to create a new normal, and right now we're trying to figure that out. It's gonna take some months for us to figure out a new normal. I really think a lot of good things can come out of it. It's gonna have to, because that's the way life works. But um but there is no new normal. We have to figure out, we have to take this time, however long it's going to take for us to create the new normal and to get on the other side of this. Um, because we don't know nothing right now. We don't know. Like you said,
Right.
we gotta be flexible and willing to adjust to whatever comes at us now.
And then
It's
figure
coming
out
in
what
this fast.
things that we want to take with us. Like, what things that we do during this quarantine that we want to stay with us.
Yeah.
Like, my family has started doing Sunday night Zoom phone calls. That's something like moving forward, even out of this, that I would want to take with me. I would want to take and continue to do those things because it has strengthened us as a family. And you guys, I said I'm here in the hospital, so my tech is here to take my blood pressure and all that kind of stuff. So you gotta bear with me.
But like you said, and I think that's definitely good, especially because most of your family is in New York and not here in Georgia. So that's awesome. Even me and my family has started the weekly calls because even though Atlanta has opened back up, I'm not getting back out. I love my family and they understand my reasoning for not wanting to get back out, even with them. Even my mom is immunocompromised, but we have started Zoom calls as well, talking to each other, cutting up, joking, cracking on each other, and everything. And we've already talked about doing stuff together to lose some more pounds and get fit, especially when we start to open up again. I had a cousin suggest we can all walk together. We just got to walk 6 feet apart from each other. So, just making, I guess we'll have to make an adjustments. However, whether we um walk together at 6 feet apart or whether we just wait till all this is over. I know we have a few things to attend to once all this is over, as far as just being around each other. So that, I think that's a really good idea and something that people should consider if they haven't already, especially if they have long distance family and just want to um check in and see what's up. It's We have so much access to technology now. It's really no reason. I'm sorry, y'all. It's really no reason why you can't call your people, FaceTime your people, not even FaceTime, video chat, whatever it is that you use. There's no reason that you can't do that. So that's a really, really good idea. But
Yeah,
yeah.
I think that whatever, people always are like, oh, you didn't call me, or, I thought about you and I didn't call you. This has kind of really made us more in tune with picking up the phone and calling people and checking on them because, someone may be here today, like I said, and gone
Yeah. And it's just, the whole thing is just sad. We need to take advantage of this downtime and really bond with each other more. Um, Especially if you have too much time to not reach out to those people that you haven't reached out to in forever, or that person that you thought about but you didn't reach out and you forgot. So I do that a lot, but it's definitely, we have the time and the space to reach out to those people. All that commute time going to work, if you're not an essential worker, you don't have that commute time anymore, so you can just work at home and still have that time, that extra time to do whatever it is that you didn't have time to do before. So,
or you can just work from the hospital bed.
right. Or you can do that because that's what people do. They have days off. So, hey. So,
That's
yeah.
so funny because, well, you were saying all of that just now. It's like 5 people just walked in here to do like a million things, and I'm like, oh, great. Well, this is the way we're gonna have to peel back the curtain on this one.
Definitely. Well, as most of our viewers know, sickle cell is very unpredictable, and some days it's gonna be like this. Some days it's gonna be the other way around. Some days it might be where both of us are in there, and we just gotta make it do what it do.
Right.
We gonna still keep rolling because ain't no days off. So
I mean, the level of commitment that it took today, you guys don't even understand. I don't have a brush here. I have this tiny little skinny comb that they give you here at the hospital, and I had some Vaseline and some water, and I made a bun. Like, y'all don't even understand the level of commitment I have to bringing you all this show and getting the word out about sickle cell. And just so you know that advocating is so near and dear to our hearts that we would do this even like right now when I'm medicated and I really, really just want to be taking a nap.
Tris, I understand. I know that feeling. I know that feeling all too well. So, but we appreciate your willingness and your commitment to put your bun together with all your black girl magic and still come through to talk about this COVID-19 with our people. And talking about COVID-19 being in the hospital. So it's good that you were, I hate that you're there, but at
I'm
the same
on
time,
location.
huh?
That I'm on location.
Right. Like, I hate that you're there, but I'm glad you're still able to give that experience. And I'm glad you were still able to come on to give that experience because people are scared to go to the hospital right now. So
Yeah.
maybe if they see and hear that, oh, she's in there and she said it's not so bad, maybe it will let down some of that apprehension to go. I still think that is a good time for especially sickle cell warriors to really, or just anybody, period, to be or to become really in tune with their bodies, really learn their pain and their pain tolerances, really
Yeah.
learn their triggers. Some things could be food triggers and not necessarily stress or weather. So I really hope that a lot of people in the chronic illness community, period, take this time to also um, really get in tune with themselves, like I said, and maybe not be so dependent on the hospital.
Yeah. I mean, because this is really like the last resort. Had they not said to me, Jennifer, you have to go in, I wouldn't be here myself.
Yeah.
So, it just also is a push for you to like find other methods of, keeping yourself healthy, natural remedies and homeopathic remedies. And, even though those things don't work as quickly as, taking a pain pill, but over time, those types of things can help and it can help you overall,
Right.
making small lifestyle changes.
Right. And you have to be consistent with those things, especially with naturopathic medicine, because, like you said, it doesn't just work so quickly. It doesn't work overnight. I can't just be sick and feel like my blood is not doing what it's supposed to be and think I'm gonna eat a spinach salad and we're good. That's not how that works. Not
Right.
especially if I didn't eat no spinach salad yesterday, the day before that, or the day before that,
Or
I'm
like
not
never
gonna
had
be
a spinach salad. Like you've never had one, but you're gonna eat one today, and
right.
this is not
Right.
Popeye.
Or even with the turmeric, like I might put it in a smoothie, and I've heard people say to put it in milk at night, but even that doesn't work fast enough for me. I don't eat turmeric all the time. So and last week when I was dealing with my arm, I was like, screw this turmeric. Give me something because I'm about 5 minutes away from cutting my arm off. But not really, but really.
Right. Like I'm ready
So
to slap somebody.
Exactly. Y'all, somebody would have felt that Incredible Hulk trying to come out of their arm. But yeah, even that was just not working at the moment. And I tried everything before I actually took my medicine. It was hurting that bad. And I tried like a combination of things, the CBD oil rub, like the peppermint rub, the turmeric. No.
Just in there smelling like weed and menthol.
And it still ain't do nothing. I still had to take the prescription pain meds. Damn, I'm smelling like weed, menthol, and dope up off of Percocet. Bad combination. I would not suggest people do that at home at all. But it's also trial and error though. So especially using pain relief rubs. I love my emu oil. I don't think that would have worked for my arm last week. I'm out. But a lot of pain relief stuff is just a lot of things are trial and error. So when you are experimenting with naturopathic medicine, you're going to have to figure out what works for you. You're also going to have to figure out what your body needs to even know what you need to try out. Maybe because you are a person that needs blood exchanges, maybe you need more beets or more whatever it is in your diet, whereas I don't have blood transfusions or exchanges, so I probably shouldn't eat as many beets because I don't want to have to deal with my levels going too far up. So
Right.
it's really, people have to figure out what really works for them. I Google everything. You can find out what foods, what spices, what oils are good for inflammation, nerve pain. You can Google all that stuff to figure out what you need to incorporate in your diet or what you need to change in your lifestyle period to have a better sickle cell maintenance plan.
Yeah. Well, before we thank our sponsors, I just wanted to reiterate the fact that during this pandemic, we need to be focusing on ourselves, taking care of ourselves the best way we know how, and making sure we're doing things that bring us joy, bring us peace, make us happy, and bring us together as family and friends. So whatever those things are, those are the things that we need to be focusing on in order to come out on the other side of this without being completely broken and sad and full of trauma. So just wanted to make sure I said that before we thanked our sponsors.
Yes, so we would love to thank Mr. Dan Moore with the Apex Museum. If y'all have not checked it out, when Atlanta's open, but when we get back to getting stuff going, please check out the Apex Museum and tell Mr. Moore that Sickle Cell Awareness 365, Jennifer and Mia sent you there. Our next sponsor is Kids Stop Daycare and Learning Center, the awesome Miss Tanya Robinson. And last but not least, Black Professionals Network. We love them as well. We appreciate all of our sponsors. Let me also just state that I know it's scary out there, but a lot of people still depend on blood donations. So
Me.
continue, like Jennifer, please continue to donate blood. Please, please, please continue to donate blood because it could save a life. It puts some of us back to our normal, and we're able to go to work. We're able to care for our kids. We're able to do the things that we normally couldn't do without your blood. So please don't forget about those who need blood. We're vampires.
All right.
So thank y'all
for tuning in tonight. Thanks for bearing with us amongst our location change, our topic change, everything. We really appreciate your viewership.
Yep. So we'll see y'all in a couple of weeks. Bye.
Bye, guys.